Hello everyone, my name is Geraldine Contreras. Language and perception of gender through urban music in 10th grade students of the Institución Educativa Luis Antonio Escobar of the municipality of Villapinzón, Cundinamarca by Geraldine Contreras. So the context. This research is carried out in Colombia in the municipality of Villapinzón, Cundinamarca, exactly in a public institution called Luis Antonio Escobar that provides education to students from preschooler to 11th grade. These students are mostly children of ranchers and farmers in the region who are in socioeconomic level 1 and 2. So, Villapinzón is a Colombian municipality of Cundinamarca, located in the province of Almeidas, 80 kilometers northeast of Bogota, living by the North Highway. In Villapinzón is the source of the Bogota River in the Páramo de Guacheneque. The region, the economy of the municipality is based on activities such as livestock and agriculture, which is why many of the students carry out activities related to the field. The Luis Antonio Escobar School has a model of traditional education covering the grades of preschool, primary, and secondary. And the students, this project is carried out with 10th grade, where there are 30 students in total, of which 10 of them were chosen as a sample for the research project and to whom the interview was applied. Richard question. How is language affect from the perception of gender through urban music in 10th grade students of the Luis Antonio Escobar Educational Institution of the municipality of Villapinzón, Cundinamarca? So sociolinguistics are interested in how we speak differently in different social contexts and how we can also use specific language functions to convey social meaning or aspect of our identity. Sociolinguistics teaches us about real life social attitudes and situations. Therefore, we want to highlight music as a sociolinguistics medium since it has been part of our lives since we are in the womb. It's said that playing classical music to a baby in the womb simulates his brain. In the same way, to calm him down while he sleeps or to celebrate important events, such as, for example, birthdays or social events in general. As we grow, we identify more with the type of music, and the urban music is one of the most listened to by young people now. Although the lyrics of the songs in many cases encourage the misuse of sex, drugs, violence, and even the degradation of women, because you do see as an object of satisfaction. On the other hand, some songs make the man look like a machine to make money, and that is reflect in some of the attitudes of the society. But that's why you can see affect the language from the musical interaction in the society. That's why we decide to investigate what young people think of urban music and its influence with gender, but mainly how is the language affect from the perception of gender um, through urban music in 10th grade students of the Luis Antonio Escobar Educational Institution. Um, the objectives, general objectives, is identify the affectations of language from the perception of gender through urban music in the 10th grade of the Institución Educativa Luis Antonio Escobar. The specific objectives determine the principles that affect language from the perception of gender through urban music and describe the aspect that affect the language and gender perspective from urban music. The methodology is inte- intended to obtain descriptive data through the students' own words and observation in such a way that the type of research that is developed is quality research. Um, so the, the instruments of data collection, we use observation and interview. Um, the type of research, taking into account that this research aims to identify the effects of language from the perception of gender through urban music in 10th grade students of the Institución Educativa Luis Antonio Escobar. Its intent to obtain the script data through the students' um, own words and observation. Mm, intend to obtain described data through the students a way that the type of research that is developed is qualitative research, since qualitative methods start from the basic assumption that the social world is full of meaning and symbols. We use the interview. We made an interview with 8 questions. First is, ¿te gustaría escuchar música urbana? Second, ¿con qué frecuencia escuchas música urbana? Explica tu respuesta. Third, ¿te gustan los artistas de música urbana? ¿Por qué? Fourth, ¿qué opinas del contenido de la música urbana? Five, ¿qué mensaje considera que tiene la música urbana con relación al género? Six, ¿cómo incide la música urbana en tu identidad? Seven, ¿qué tipo de sentimientos te genera escuchar este tipo de música? Eighth, ¿consideras que la música urbana tiene influencia en la sociedad y en los comportamientos de la misma? According to the surveys, the following results were obtained. ¿Te gusta escuchar música urbana? According to the data collected, urban music is part of the current musical genre that young people surveyed between 14 and 16 years old listen to. Some of them stating that they like it a lot of, since the rhythms generate a feeling of energy. Second, ¿con qué frecuencia escuchas música urbana? Explica tu respuesta. According to the information obtained through the instrument, it can it can call it can be observed that the young people surveyed between 14 and 16 years old mostly listen to music on a daily basis. And also listen to this rhythm of music in place and everyday situation, such as school, road, at home, gym, and when they are doing academic tasks. On the other hand, it's observed that there is a minority that prefers electronic music. Question, say, ¿gustan los artistas de música urbana? ¿Por qué? It's observed through the respondents that very few artists prefer this because some artists make content in which gender-based violence can be identified, especially verbal violence. Due to the sexual emphasis and degradation against women and minorities. Likewise, is observed that young people had a position against this symbolic gender violence, which has lost its strength due to the state of collective consequences that are born in respect and dignity towards women, as well as the restoration of the rights of the same. Fourth question, ¿qué opinas del contenido de la música urbana? According to those surveyed, the content of urban music is a variable content that on some occasions can generate feelings of joy and rise spirits. However, with the content of some songs, is observed due the language that they use. This being a sexual and discriminatory language, especially towards women. Five question. ¿Qué mensaje considera que tiene la música urbana con relación al género? Through the surveys, it was possible to identify that urban music has a greater tendency to generate sexist scenarios through messages and inappropriate language that in some situation denigrates women. In addition to in city people who consume these contents to naturalize gender-based violence against it. Sixth question, ¿cómo incide la música urbana en tu identidad? According to the answer analyzed, it's possible to identify that in some case, it's not possible to perceive the influence that urban music of young people. The answer given by them pays greater emphasis on immediate aspects such as the feeling of happiness and the increase in a state of mind when listening this content. Seven question. ¿Qué tipo de sentimientos genera escuchar este tipo de música? In most of the young people surveyed, it can be observed that urban music triggers feelings of joy, emotions, happiness, and in a minority feelings of discomfort and sadness, especially due the content that denigrates women in this kind of music. A question. ¿Consideras que la música urbana tiene influencia en la sociedad y en los comportamientos de la misma? According to the answer given by the young people surveyed, music is for them an universal language that achieves the identification of generation and behaviors of many universal language of many people. This is due to the process of identification of many young people with these contents, and because it has become quite common in society such as parties, schools, and in general in most places such as shopping centers, among others. Okay, and the conclusions, the elaboration of this project has helped us more about the knowledge of the different branch of the urban genre and the difference of music throughout time, identifying the effects of language from the perception of gender through urban music in 10th grade of the educational institution Luis Antonio Escobar. It was possible to determine the principles that affect the language from the perception of gender through urban music in the students. Also, the students of the Luis Antonio Escobar feel identified with the lyrics of the songs, and they like different singers of the urban music because they feel accepted in their school environment. Urban music is immersed in our society, and therefore in every person it's not difficult to come across it in the street, on the radio, on the television, in the music player, since music has the ability to flow and interact with us. Generating a musical culture, on the other hand, we learned that urban music touches on themes such as love, political criticisms, and social criticisms of our environment. Thank you so much. Goodbye.